the first episode of the Nickelodeon Slimecast podcast for 2016. I almost said casual chats. I am so sorry. Anyway, so I am Patricia, and I'm here with admins Kenny McCormick. And I'm... Yes. For those who don't know, that is our admin, James. And also, we have the Nickelodeon Critic. Welcome back, Nickelodeon Critic.
Rest in peace, Lemmy.
Yes, let's rest in peace, Lemmy from Motorhead. So, yeah, this is our first episode of 2016. And we're going to be having a lot of great stuff coming up, but right before we do that, we might as well be discussing about some various topics. Like, first of all, how was your holiday?
It was good.
Did you get anything cool?
I got this huge John Lennon box set with all of his albums in it, and it made me happy.
Okay, that's cool. That's cool. And how about you, James? What did you get?
Oh, I got the entire Futurama run. I got the Futurama DVD movies. I got the Lethal Weapon collection, and I got a few South Park sets. I've got what else? I got Ren and Stimpy, the first 2 seasons on cop, and I got loads of presents.
Awesome, awesome. As for me, I just got one present this year, and I got myself a Blue Yeti microphone. It's a professional microphone that I can be able to use for my audio stuff, which will be really great, and it will be coming in handy for my upcoming projects. So, yeah, that's pretty good. So yeah, any New Year's resolutions that you have for the new year?
This is kind of stupid, but listen to all of the albums that I've gotten.
Okay, that's good. That's not stupid at all. Any particular albums that you have?
Well, I have all of the Beatles. I have most of AC/DC. I have all of Bob Dylan. I have most of Yes. I have a lot of Rolling Stones. And I just want to listen to all of it.
Okay,
so that I can make reviews out of them.
Awesome, awesome. And let's see, how about you, Zach? Any New Year's resolutions? I guess not. Well,
yeah, but the camera isn't working.
That's fine. That's fine. You don't have to. Don't worry about the camera. You could just
to be able to not die.
Okay, that's a New Year's resolution we can all live by.
We all get by with a little help from our friends.
I was supposed to put Kenny there.
It's a South Park joke. Gotcha. Well, while you get Kenny back, as for me, well, my New Year's resolution is just to, I guess in general, just be a better person to everybody. Help out more people and continue to do well with others, and just continue to, just do various tasks and hopefully make the world a better place. Because, I mean, let's be honest, the year 2015, it was full of ups and downs over the years, especially with our society, and I hope that things will continue to get better. But the only way that it can be better is if we're better. So, hoping for that. And as for my channel, I want to be able to, do some new content, create some things that are not just Nickelodeon stuff, and, just expand my horizons and see what other things I can be able to do. So that's
probably Disney Channel.
Disney could be good. Although there is somebody that I am associated with who's done a ton of Disney content. But who knows? Maybe I will do Disney. Maybe I'll do Disney. Maybe I'll do Cartoon Network. Maybe I'll do anime. I don't know.
Or Comedy Central.
Or that too. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot to discuss about. Anyway, so in our last podcast that we did, James and I, we were talking about our opinions of the Splat and the Hey Arnold TV movie. Nickelodeon Critic, what are your opinions on that?
Funny enough, I've never seen the Splat.
Oh, okay. That's fine. That's fine.
Now,
Um, Go ahead.
the Hey Arnold TV movie, I'm excited for, but I'm kind of worried about.
How so?
Because Nickelodeon hasn't always been that great with reboots. Let's just be honest.
Uh-huh. That is true, yeah. I mean, when it comes to their revivals, they revived the game shows, they revived
All that.
Rugrats, all that. Are You Afraid of the Dark?
Fairly Odd Parents.
Yeah, and Fairly Odd Parents and SpongeBob. So, I mean, I'm a little bit hesitant on it at first, but because Craig Bartlett is going to be hugely involved with it, and they're taking most of the original Jungle movie script, and Chris Viscardi is going to be heavily involved with, what the content for Classic Nick's going to be, I have a little bit of hope for it. I'm just hoping that it doesn't raise up to people's expectations that they're wanting like so much more than what it already is. I'm just thankful that we're getting it.
I think personally that Nickelodeon might be banking on the success of the revivals of Family Guy and Futurama.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that could be a possibility, but the difference is that um, with Family Guy and Futurama, it kind of had like a small group of people who really liked it, and it didn't get like a huge resurgence until it was showcased on Adult Swim. So with Hey Arnold's case, I guess you could say that for maybe the younger audience who didn't see it the first time when it first aired. So it could be a possibility that it's going to be gravitating towards that audience as well as the original audience. Because remember, with this revival, they're planning on introducing new kids who probably didn't grow up with Hey Arnold to get introduced to it without getting too lost. So, what, we'll just see where it goes from there. All I know is that I'm still very excited for it.
Me too.
And, yeah. And let's see. Another unfortunate news regarding about Nickelodeon was that Drake Bell was arrested due to a DUI. So he hasn't been doing very well lately.
Nope.
I
He's been
kind
banged.
of, I kind of lost interest, and I'm like, I've kind of lost respect for him after the Caitlyn Jenner joke. I know that was a reference to a Drake and Josh episode, but I felt like the way that he dressed it was way too out of line. Not to sound like a PC principal or anything.
Sure, sure. And how about you, Nickelodeon Critic? What's your opinion on it?
I kind of find it funny in a way that for out of if you really think about it, there's not really been too many Nickelodeon stars that have done really stupid things. Like the only one I can really think of is Amanda Bynes. But
Yeah, yeah.
I just find it interesting that there's now another one.
Well, I think maybe the reason why that we don't really hear a lot of Nickelodeon celebrities go through so much trouble is because, back in the old days, a lot of the actors that they gotten from Nickelodeon shows weren't really actors. They were just regular kids who they were just doing this for fun, and they didn't have a lot of agents, and there wasn't a lot of like corporate businesses being fully involved. Like, we got to market this person to making them like singers and dancers and actors and stuff like that. So, yeah, I mean, for the most part, there are a few exceptions. Like, we have like Danny Tamborelli and let's
Keenan.
Lisa, yeah, Keenan Thompson, Lisa Foyles, if you want to go for the online community. Um, let's see, Mike Morona does a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff. So does Jason Zimbler, who he does a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff. So, yeah, I mean, for a lot of people, they quit acting and they moved on to other things. Like, for example, you have Christine McGlade, a.k.a. Moose from You Can't Do That on Television. She's mostly, like, doing behind-the-scenes stuff in Canadian television. Alison Fennelly, who was Ellen from Heat, she's a doctor now. So, and, for the most part, I guess that's why a lot of the kids became stable enough so that when they became adults, they didn't cause a lot of mayhem. I'm not sure what the deal is with people like Amanda Bynes and Drake Bell in which they have to cause so much trouble, but, we're all human, we all make mistakes, so regardless of what happens, I hope that Drake pulls out of it, because he seems like a good guy. He's just been in a lot of, he just seems like the guy who gets into a lot of bad situations.
He's like the Mr. Magoo of the real world.
Yeah, except that nobody's laughing. But then again, with Mr. Magoo, most of the times we wouldn't be laughing anyway. Sorry for any Mr. Magoo fans, but I never really liked Mr. Magoo, not even when Wienerville used to showcase the shorts in their run. Anyway, I got some other news. Did you hear this? There was this article on Clickhole that I read recently that they're thinking about putting a new season of The Adventures of Jimmy Neutron Boy Genius on Netflix.
It's fake.
Oh, it is a fake.
Yeah, it's basically one of those that is it's one of those sites in which it produces mock news articles. But to be honest with you, I don't actually want it brought back. Not only do I feel that the show hasn't aged well, but does it really need a revival, especially after Planet Sheen? It had a good run anyway.
Yeah, you're right. The Adventures of Jimmy Neutron Boy Genius did have a good run. It had an ending, whether you want to call the last TV movie where they got the villains together, or the episode Lady Sings the News in which Jimmy and Cindy have that kiss in the end, the ending, or if you want to have, whatever episode that aired in the last few episodes, consider that as an ending. I felt that it had a pretty decent run. I mean, yeah, sure, Planet Sheen became a huge blemish in Nickelodeon's run, but as a revival, I mean, I would like to see it come back in comic book form. I've already did an entire list on that on my top 10 Nicktoons and comic book adaptations. But for the most part, a revival, I mean, they'll have to... I don't know. I mean, a revival? No, not really. But I mean, maybe some sort of a reboot would be nice. Maybe like change the design. Maybe go the whole My Little Pony route, in which maybe a fan of Jimmy Neutron would be able to work on the show and make it somewhat the same yet somewhat different. I don't know. I mean, it could work, but I think it's still a little bit too soon. Shows like Rugrats and Hey Arnold having revivals, that makes a little bit of sense because they've been off the air for at least a decade, and they're old enough in which, you would probably have the idea of, hey, let's bring it back in some way. The Adventures of Jimmy Neutron, however, I think it's still a little too fresh in people's minds, especially with Planet Sheen.
I'd have to agree. I mean, like, it's the equivalent of... bringing back, it's the equivalent of bringing back, say, Vault Soda. Even though that's basically defunct, it was only defunct like 5 years ago.
I guess you could say that. I guess that makes a good point on that. Yeah. What about you, Nickelodeon Critic? What's your opinion on it?
The Jimmy Neutron thing.
Yeah.
I would say this. If they were going to bring it back, they probably... Well, first off, I don't think Jimmy Neutron is the best show to bring back. Because, I mean, like Zach said about Vault, it's just... Jimmy Neutron's only been gone for not really...
10 years.
Yeah, 10 years this year, but still, I'm not sure if really it's going to be the best, because even though I grew up on that show, I don't think it has aged as well as other shows.
No, when you're talking about that, are you talking about the animation or just the entire...
the entire thing.
The entire thing, okay. I was never a person who, loved The Adventures of Jimmy Neutron Boy Genius. I guess because when the show first came out, I was in high school, so I didn't really see why everybody was so crazy about it because, I grew up with, shows in the early to mid-90s, so I already got a taste of what that was, and I thought it was okay. I thought it was a pretty decent show. It was pretty funny the majority of the times. But I felt that season 1 was the whole, it's very formulaic and it's extremely monotonous with Jimmy creating an invention, it goes wrong, Jimmy has a brain blast, and then everything goes back to normal and stuff like that. So I think the way that The Adventures of Jimmy Neutron became more interesting, in my opinion, was when they started introducing the villains. Other than that, I guess I can understand why a lot of people really like The Adventures of Jimmy Neutron Boy Genius because we've been discussing... throughout the years that Well, I don't know, but when it comes to the majority of Nickelodeon CGI Nicktoons, they haven't been the best, if you know what I mean.
Family Chun.
Attacking the power of you.
Yes, like those shows.
However, I will say this: even though I'm not too big on Jimmy Neutron, I at least understand why it has a fan base. And even shows like iCarly, I can understand that they have a fan base. But it shows like Breadwinners as to why I don't understand that. You know what I mean? Like as to why I don't understand how that has a fan base.
Yeah, one of my friends from Manic Expression, David, aka Brett Club 85. He once said that, for any show or movie, regardless if it's bad or if it's good, they will always have a dedicated fan base, whether it be big or whether it be small. Even something like the Star Wars prequels have a dedicated fan base. So yeah, I mean, regardless, we cannot be upset if a show that we don't like has a dedicated fan base. If they like it, then we have to respect what they like. Yeah, so yeah, let's see. The Jimmy Neutron thing was a fake. I didn't know if it was a fake or not. I looked it up, and the only source I was able to find it was on Clickhole. So yeah, it was a fake. So oh yeah, another topic that we can discuss about. So the final episode of Nick News with Linda Ellerby has aired. Did any of you guys see it?
Nope.
I don't have cable anymore, so no.
Uh,
Am I the only one who finds it ironic that well the only 90s Nick show that has been running as long as it has is now ending, and yet the 90s Nick shows that haven't been on the air for very long are being considered to be brought back.
yeah, I guess so. I mean, even though it's a shame that Nick News is ending its run, and I know a lot of people are saying, and I quote, "Man, that show is ending? I thought it ended years ago." Or, "Oh, thank you for that show ending. Now I can actually watch some good Nickelodeon shows." It's a shame because it's always been that Nick News with Linda Ellerby has been hated by everybody. A lot of people just do not like Nick News with Linda Ellery, and I understand. It's the news. When you're a kid, you don't want to watch the news. You want to watch cartoons. You want to watch something that makes you laugh. And yes, when I was a kid, I was the same way. But when I grew older, I gained a bigger appreciation for it. And there were a lot of great topics that they would be discussing about. But unfortunately, it seems like it's just going to be one of those shows in which people are just going to flat out hate because, oh, it's not a cartoon that entertains me, it's the news. And you know what? I mean, I'm really glad that Linda Ellerby was able to keep it running for as long as she did. I mean, 25 years. That is an accomplishment right there.
Not even Rugrats lasted that long, or SpongeBob.
No, no, exactly. Rugrats, SpongeBob, and the Fairly Odd Parents have not lasted 25 years. Not even You Can Do That on Television or Pinwheel has lasted for 25 years. So even if you hate Nick News, you have to at least acknowledge that they've accomplished quite a lot. They've had so many wonderful guests. They've talked about a lot of topics. They weren't afraid to talk to kids about what was going on in the world. And I respect them for that. And Linda Ellerby was a really good host. She was able to work with what she was able to do, presenting it in a very friendly, very calm way, and not just a way of scaring kids, but relating to kids with real things that are going on. And for that, I give a lot of respect for Linda Ellerby for doing that. All right, so there was another bit of news that I found out recently. I believe it's either like next week or so, there's going to be some sort of basketball game that's going to be showcasing some 90s Nickelodeon stuff. So yeah, it's somewhat similar to last year. There was a baseball team, and it showcased things from the 90s are all that, and Kel Mitchell was a guest on there, and they were playing Double Dare. And it's going to be the same thing for this basketball team, and they're going to be having the Splat come along, and they're going to be playing like games featuring like 90s Nickelodeon stuff. And I haven't heard anything about a guest yet, but that should be pretty interesting.
I gotta be honest, I think that for a long time, I mean, like, for a long time, 90s Nickelodeon has not been Nickelodeon's priority, but in 2015, I feel that's pretty much changed. They're just as enthusiastic about it now as the fans are.
Yeah, definitely. I think the Splat definitely changed what it was for showcasing what Nickelodeon shows were because they're able to expand their Nickelodeon shows and they're able to answer to fans, which is something that the 90s were all that they didn't do for a while. Oh, now I remember what the team was. It was the Atlantic Hawks. That's what it was. And the game that they're going to be playing is Nickelodeon Guts, and it's going to be on January 9th. It's the Atlantic Hawks versus the Chicago Bulls. So if you are going to see them, or if you're going to be watching it on TV, I don't know if they are going to show it on TV, but if you're interested in checking that out, then yeah, January 9th, Atlanta Hawks versus the Chicago Bulls. Okay. But yeah, going back to the Splat, I'm really liking what the Splat has been doing. I know some people are still angry about, oh, why is the Splat only on TNIC? I don't have TNIC. I want to be able to watch it on the main channel. And you know, I understand that. I know that you're angry, and people like James, they're not able to see the Splat because it's not on in Europe yet, and they don't have a live stream yet. So I'm sure that maybe they'll be able to work some things, but until then, if you do have TNIC and if you do have the opportunity to stay up at around 10 p.m., then please watch it so that people who are liking it can be able to keep it around.
I think they've made it much more impossible to access now because I feel like they want loads of people to actually pay for cable subscriptions so that they get TNIC. That's probably why it's very hard to find a live stream of it.
Yeah, I can understand that because let's be honest, cable has been kind of dying over the past couple of years. A lot of people, when they watch their shows, they do on demand or they wait a couple of days and they watch it online, like in Hulu or on Netflix. So not a lot of people are watching cable anymore. So I guess this is a way for Viacom to say, hey, you want to watch 90s Nickelodeon? Well, you're going to have to subscribe to Team Nick. That way you can be able to watch it. I mean, that's kind of a low blow on their part, but, you know, again, like I said, if you do have TNIC, you know, take advantage of it while you still can, because the Splat is everything that the 90s or all that should have been. They are treating 90s Nickelodeon with the respect that it deserves. They're showcasing a lot more Nickelodeon shows. They're mixing it up with different shows instead of just rerunning the same 4 shows over and over and over again. And they have various contests. They are answering feedback from their fans on Facebook and on Twitter. So yeah, I mean they're doing the right thing. I want to see what else they're going to be doing in 2016.
Especially on Twitter. And in fact, guess what, Patricia? They've even said that they feel that's right. The Splat themselves have even said that they feel that As Told by Ginger is underrated.
Oh yeah. You sent me the link to that, and I was really happy because they said it twice. They said it for when a person was asking on Twitter, hey, for the Thanksgiving special, are you going to showcase the episode 10 chairs? And they said no, but we will do something special for As Told by Ginger because, you know, that show is so underrated. In fact, there was speaking of As Told by Ginger and underrated, one of the artists from Klasky Chupo named Eric Molinsky, he posted a picture of what he felt, in his opinion, what the Rugrats would look like if they were grown up. He felt that the ones that were featured in the show all grown up wouldn't look that way because the original style of Klasky Chupo's art was, as he described it, kind of lumpy. Did you guys see the pictures?
Yeah, I did.
No.
No? All right.
Tommy
well,
looks like Stu.
Yeah. Tommy looks like Stu. Chucky kind of has like his longer hair, and he has like the same similar clothes. Kind of looks like a beatnik. And Phil and Lil are kind of overweight, except that I think Phil has a duck tattoo, and Lil, she looks like she's a businesswoman. And in that article, he was talking about twice that why didn't you guys watch As Told by Ginger? That was such a good show. And then he was talking about how all grown up he felt it felt too much like a sitcom. So yes, a person who worked on Klasky Chupo stated that he felt that As Told by Ginger was incredibly underrated. He showcased what he felt, in his opinion, what the characters of Rugrats would look like, and he said that All Grown Up was too sitcom-y, or too much of a sitcom. And, of course, his drawings are not the finalized drawings of Rugrats because, Arlene and Gabor are the ones in charge of it. But it was kind of interesting to see another perspective, especially somebody who worked at Klasky Csupo from 1999 to 2002.
Those years are pretty much the years that Rocket Power was on the. Sorry, I'm just a bit tired, so I'm a bit stammering a bit.
That's fine. Yeah, you're right. That was when Rocket Power was on the air. And, Rocket Power, The Wild Thornberrys, and As Told by Ginger, and All Growed Up, the 10th anniversary of when Rugrats originally aired. Anyway, speaking of Nickelodeon, going back to it again, so the year 2016, man, 2016 is going to be a massive year for Nickelodeon fans because a lot of shows are celebrating their anniversaries. Like, 1991 will be 25 years old. And I mentioned this numerous times, but 1991 is the most important year of Nickelodeon next to when it first got started in 1979. So let's see what the shows that are going to be celebrating its 25th anniversary. So we have, I'm sorry, Nickelodeon Critic, Welcome Freshmen.
Oh, I hate that show. I know. I'm just kidding, it already did.
Dog.
Yes, that's right. The three original Nicktoons will be celebrating its 25th anniversary. Doug, Rugrats, and the Ren and Stimpy Show. What would you do? Clarissa Explains It All, Salute Your Shorts, Are You Afraid of the Dark, and 15.
It will be 10 years since Rugrats' second one. It'll be 20 years since Rugrats actually came back on the air.
Yeah, and not to mention it'll be the 20th anniversary of Kenan and Kel, Hey Arnold, and Kablam. And
Kablam is so underrated.
Oh yeah, I know.
I personally.
Speaking of Kablam, did you guys listen to the interview that I did with Will McRobb a couple of weeks ago?
I think so.
I might have.
All right. Well, for our listeners who don't know, I actually do have my own personal YouTube channel where I post my stuff, and I had Will McRobb as a special guest, and he was telling me a little bit more information of what the Prometheus and Bob movie would have been. So, from what I understand, and this is not the finalized version, but he told me that this could have been in the first draft, that it was a live-action movie, as mentioned before, and the people who were going to play as Prometheus and Bob. And again, this has not been finalized. This was in the first draft of the script. But Prometheus and Bob were going to be played by David Spade and Chris Farley.
Chris Farley would have worked.
Yeah,
It's a shame he passed on.
Yeah, David Spade would have been Prometheus, and Bob would have been Chris Farley.
Chris Farley was funny. Oh my gosh. That would have worked. If he were Bob, that would have freaking worked.
There's another 20-year anniversary of a certain special.
Oh, which is?
Rugrats Hanukkah special.
Oh, that's right. The Hanukkah special did air 20 years ago. You're right. So that's another special that we need to, celebrate when the time comes. So yeah, Chris Farley and David Spade. That would have been so interesting. And from what I understand as well, I mean, it probably, I don't know for sure. It could have either been an origin story, like maybe when Prometheus was sent over to Earth and he met Bob for the first time, and or it could have been where they would play off similar antics that they did in the show. Now, maybe sometime in the line, maybe when we're done with the Summer of Nickelodeon movies, which we are planning on doing, by the way. Again, if you were really looking forward to it last summer, I apologize. It was just really hard of getting a group of us to tackle in 26 movies, but now it's going to be 27 because...
We couldn't stand each other.
Yes, we hated each other. I hate your guts. I'm kidding. But no, 26 movies was hard to, have everybody come together and discuss about. But now it's going to be 27 because this coming June or July is going to be the sequel to the Michael Bay Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which
No.
joy. But,
That
but
the
I, but I
first one,
saw
the
the
first one was as bad as Welcome Freshman.
the first one was alright. I mean, it wasn't good, but it wasn't like horrible. But the one thing that did really like about the trailer for the second TMNT movie was Bebop and Rocksteady did look pretty good. I don't know how they're gonna play in the movie, but we'll just see what happens. I just hope that they won't become throwaways like what the Shredder was. Oh man,
Yeah,
the Shredder was just so useless.
I saw Black Nerd Comedy's video on that, and that got me pumped. Even though I was not a huge fan of the first one, I actually really am looking forward to the second one.
Yeah, me too. I'm hoping that it's halfway decent. But then again, we're talking about Michael Bay.
He made Transformers, so
Well,
that's good.
he did. Well, to be fair, he did make good movies in the '90s, such as Bad Boys and
I
The
mean,
Rock.
yeah.
Bad boys, what you
What you
gonna?
gonna do? What you gonna do when they come? Okay, you're right. You're right. He did do Bad Boys, sure. But I guess maybe Michael Bay will be able to hopefully make it good. I don't know. Maybe he'll actually listen to the criteria of people instead of saying to everybody, "Hey, I know what I'm doing. You're gonna be happy." But he was able to listen to critiques about not making the turtles aliens. So, you know what? Anything's possible.
Also,
Yep.
I wonder what's going to happen with Skyrap, by the way. I've not heard about that in a while.
Oh yeah, yeah. I haven't heard about that either. I guess maybe Bartlett put it on the side because they are working on the TV movie. So maybe it'll come out at some point. I'm not sure, but maybe when the TV movie comes out, maybe he'll work on Skyrad. Or I just hope that it's not a discussion that we'll be having for another Nick's Missile in which Skyrad gets canceled because that would suck.
I
Yeah.
agree. But what about I wonder if they're ever gonna, probably rehire Class Kichupo.
Well, we mentioned this before, James, that it could be a possibility that Rugrats could be getting a revival. So maybe Arlene and Gabor are coming back, and maybe they'll be coming back to doing Rugrats. Who knows?
If
Or
there's, sorry for interrupting,
no, no, no. Go ahead.
but if there's anyone who wants Rugrats revived more than anything, it's those two.
Oh yeah, especially Arlene. Arlene really wants to have that show revived.
Yep.
But will it work?
James and I, we were questioning about that because, on the one hand, yes, if something like the Peanuts movie could work back in 2015 and gaining like a new audience who had never grew up with Peanuts, with Rugrats, I mean, if they can be able to play around with the imagination, like in the original run, or maybe if they can simplify by going back to basics by just having Tommy, Chucky, Phil, and Lil, and Angelica and Susie, then maybe it'll work. If they are going to include Dylan Kimmy, then they need to be more fleshed out. Because I know a lot of people, they like Kimmy. I know they say, oh, she was a good addition for Chucky, and Chucky was able to get a sister, but I mean, that's great and all, but that doesn't excuse the fact that she was a weak character. That just is a build up for what Chucky needed. And like I mentioned before in the top 10 Nicktoons and comic book adaptations, Tommy already got a bit of confidence when, he would go over to Chucky and saying, "Hey, you can do it. You're my best friend. I know that you're brave." And that was enough for Chucky. But Kimmy was just a bit redundant when that happened, and Tommy was just focusing more on Dill. So I mean, if they want to go back to basics, I would like to see that. But in this day and age where we have Gravity Falls and Steven Universe and Star versus the Forces of Evil and all these other complex shows that have a lot of mixtures to just not only the slice of life stuff, do you think it'll work?
To be honest with you, I actually think that's one of the reasons why I feel Rugrats has regained its popularity because it was one of the very first shows to actually divulge into character development and make changes to the show. They were, whether or not they were good or bad, the fact is, I feel like people are more comfortable with change nowadays than they were back then. However, they need to flesh those characters out rather than just basically sticking them in because the movies call for it.
Okay. How about you, Nickelodeon Critic? What's your opinion on it?
I just blanked out. Sorry. Oh.
That's okay. That's okay.
Oh, about the Rugrats thing?
Yeah, the Rugrats thing.
When you mentioned imagination, I couldn't help but think of the creepypasta.
Oh, which one? Are you talking about the Chucky and the mom or the
The
Angelica?
Rugrats theory.
Yeah, the Rugrats theory where Angelica thinks that everything is all in her imagination.
Yeah.
Uh, it's funny because around Halloween, I was actually considering on doing a Nickelodeon Slimecast podcast on Nickelodeon creepypastas. We never did it because I don't know. I just didn't find enough that were interesting besides the Rugrats theory and
Squidward suicide.
yeah, Squidward suicide. There was one on the Angry Beavers about I don't know, like there were the only two beavers on Earth or something. Oh, and the Crybaby Lane creepypasta.
I never read that one. Is it basically the movie, or is it...
Yeah, apparently the movie was so shocking that it was banned from Nickelodeon, and it just became like this mystery that, and people didn't know about it. And apparently, like somebody who worked on Nickelodeon found this like blank VHS tape of Crybaby Lane that they hid away in the Nickelodeon vault for nobody to see. And yeah, I mean that thing just spread around the internet until eventually Crybaby Lane was found on VHS tape from some guy on Reddit, and then eventually it was released on the 90s or all that a year later. So, yeah, I mean, maybe I'll find some more creepypastas. I'm sure our listeners, maybe they'll know.
It's pretty tame by today's standards.
Yeah, that's true. So if any of you guys are interested of us tackling in Nickelodeon Creepypastas podcast for Halloween 2016, then maybe post your favorite Nickelodeon Creepypasta on the description box or the comments or something. We'll love to read it and either scream or laugh. We'll most likely laugh. Anyway, so let's see. Any other news that you guys want to talk about regarding about some Nickelodeon stuff?
I think I've heard that apparently, according to the article, they're actually thinking back. You know, like thinking of possibly bringing back Ren and Stimpy and Wild Thornberrys for TV movies.
Oh.
Yeah, we were discussing about that in the last podcast.
Oh, I forgot. Sorry.
Has it been more confirmed though? Because remember, we were kind of like discussing about that as like rumors.
Oh yeah.
Has it been more confirmed though?
I'm not at this time, but they said that those two are a possibility.
Yeah, those are the ones that people really want to see the most of. Rugrats, Hey Arnold, the Wild Thornberrys, and Ren and Stimpy. You know, I already said my piece on it, and
Ren and Stimpy would not work.
Yeah, why don't you discuss about Nickelodeon Critic? Because the both of us, we already discussed it in the last podcast.
Alright, I mean, they already kind of brought it back, and we don't want to talk about that.
Oh, yes. For those who don't know, we did a Nick's Missile 2 podcast about Ren and Stimpy Adult Party Cartoon. If you want to know our opinions on that, go check it out.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think people really aren't going to know what they're getting into when they say they want it, because even though probably it'll maybe return back to its roots, I don't think it's going to happen because of a adult party cartoon.
Yeah, it's similar to what we were saying earlier about Jimmy Neutron. It's like, I don't know if people want to see a Jimmy Neutron revival because of Planet Sheen. I guess in this case, I don't know if people want to see Ren and Stimpy coming back after Adult Party Cartoon.
Yeah, and I mean, it's been 12 years, well, almost 13 years since that thing happened, and people are still regarding it as one of the worst things ever. So.
I forgot to mention that, you know when the lost episodes came out on DVD?
Yeah.
John Kay said that if they did successfully, that it would make new episodes of Adult Party Cartoon on DVD, direct to DVD.
Well, I mean, after what happened with episodes such as Ren Seeks Help and Stimpy's Pregnant, I don't know if that will be a possibility anymore.
Nope. Dead in the disco.
Anyway, but yeah, speaking of John Kay, I mean, the things that I've seen him done in recent years was that he did the animation intro for The Simpsons Treehouse of Horror, and I saw a little tiny clip of yeah, Cans Without Labels, that animated cartoon he did a Kickstarter of like 3 years ago at this point.
Has that been released?
No, I just saw a clip of it, and it looks like it's not even finished. So yeah, it's still not finished, even though it's been going on for 3 years at this point.
What were your thoughts on the clip, Patricia?
I mean, it's definitely John Kay, that's for sure. I mean, you know, George Liquor presenting a can that has no label to his nephews, and they open it, and you know, whatever was in it, they had to eat it, and it turns out it was like some sort of thing with a face on it, and they get scared, and George Liquor says, "I'm gonna give you a break. I'm gonna go out and take a crap. When I come back, you guys had better finish this," and stuff like that, and they just run away, and that was the end of the clip. But that clip was like a few months ago, or maybe almost a year ago. But then again, we do know that John Kay is a massive perfectionist. It took him a whole year just to do the episode Stimpy's Invention. So, I mean, I don't know. I'm hoping that there's a lot more than just that clip. I hope there's more than just that one episode of Cans Without Labels. I'm hoping that maybe it'll, you know, at least spawn out a few episodes, but I haven't heard anything about it.
It's a shame because basically, it's because I was looking forward to that.
Yeah.
I got so excited when I found out that John Kay was making a new cartoon, but it's been years. He's probably done side projects on, you know, like, and that got lost in the interim.
Well, yeah, I mean, he has been doing some other things. Like, as I mentioned previously, there was the Treehouse of Horror opening for the last Simpsons Halloween special. And I think he did some other things for other movies. Like, there's a podcast that I've been listening to for the past couple of months called the Animated Anarchy Podcast, in which is about these two guys who work in the animation industry, and they talk about various animated movies. And there was one movie that they talked about in Thanksgiving called Freebirds. And Freebirds, it's about these turkeys who go back in time, and they try to prevent Thanksgiving from happening. And apparently, like, one of the storyboard artists or one of the designers was John Kay and Bob Camp, but they were dropped out of the project or something. I don't know, but that's what I heard from the two guys. If you haven't listened to it, I highly recommend that you check it out.
Well, that confuses me because Bob Camp has said that he's not seen John Kay since 1992.
Huh. Well, maybe it was the well, I mean, then again, you don't have to work with, you know, maybe John Kay was brought in to do some drawings, and maybe he left the project, and then maybe they brought in Bob Camp, and then eventually he left the project. But there was just like some basic, you know, art, like concept art, right before they went for the finalized art, where it was done by other people. So that's what I heard of the podcast. I don't know if it's like 100% confirmed, but since these guys do work in the animation industry, they would know a lot better than I would. Anyway, but let's continue on. So, Nickelodeon Critic, we were talking about things I can't explain, which finally got released. Were you able to take a look into it yet, or no?
No.
Well, I haven't been able to take a look into it either. But if you know my cohort from Old School Lane, Kevin, his girlfriend has a copy of Things I Can't Explain. So as soon as she's done with the book, I want to know more information about it. I may even have to buy a copy of the book myself because with Clarissa celebrating 25 years coming up, I believe in March or April, I want to definitely take a look into that book and maybe do a review of it because I remember when that announcement of that book first came out in 2012 or 2013, I was really interested in finding out what happened to Clarissa after the ending. So I'm really looking forward to what's going to happen. All right. Let's see. Oh yeah, there's a new show that came out called what was it? Miraculous Ladybug. It's a show that's been on Nick.com. And have you guys taken a look into it yet?
No.
Yep.
No, how about you, James?
Nope.
Yeah, the only reason why I knew about it was because a person that I interviewed for my podcast, Kira Buckland, whom some of you might know as Rena Chen from Newgrounds, she actually voices a character in one of the episodes, so that's how I was able to find out about it. But yeah, it's supposed to be about like this female superhero who's known as the Miraculous Ladybug, but throughout the day she's like this regular teenage girl who goes to school. So yeah, I really don't know too much about the show. Maybe it's good, maybe it's not, I'm not sure. When it comes to Nickelodeon and superheroes, I mean, they've got Henry Danger and they had the Thundermans, but they've also had My Life as a Teenage Robot and Danny Phantom. So, I mean, I'm willing to take a closer look into it, but to be quite honest, I really haven't heard a lot of people talking about it.
Speaking of which, Butch Hartman keeps teasing about new Danny Phantom episodes. He's done it again with this 2016 banner on his Facebook.
Oh yeah, that's right. Butch Hartman was talking about that. Remember when we were discussing about that Danny Phantom would have been getting a revival and possibly a possible reboot around when Danny Phantom was celebrating its 10th anniversary?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess now that Hey Arnold is getting a TV movie, I guess now he wants to take the opportunity of, hey, I want to see if maybe I can be able to revive Danny Phantom and maybe have some new episodes, and we'll see what happens. But
One thing I've seemed to notice is that he seems to post more Danny Phantom than any of his other shows.
yeah, that is true. In fact, just today, yeah, no, not today. A few days ago, he just posted a Happy New Year of Danny Phantom sitting on a wall, and it says 2016 on it. So that means he's still really attached to Danny Phantom.
More so than the Fairly Odd Parents.
Yeah, more so than the Fairly Odd Parents, and more so than Tough Puppy.
Well,
And Bunsen is the Beast.
Canceled?
I'm sorry, can you say that again?
And Bunsen is the Beast.
Yes. Anyway, so oh, that's right. No, now I remember. Yes, Bunsen is a beast. Isn't that new project that Butch Hartman is working on to be a new Nicktoon?
Yep.
Yeah, I think I remember seeing something about that, but I really don't know what it's about. Do you know what it's about?
I think it's about like a beast being sent to a humans only school.
Oh! Why does that sound familiar?
My gym partner's a monkey.
Yes! Oh, that show!
What's the
Oh,
name?
wow, that show!
I hated my gym partner's a monkey. It was too crude for me.
Oh, God. You want to know something funny? A few months ago, I saw somebody posting of my gym partner is a monkey has celebrated its 10th anniversary. Who's with me in saying that was one of their favorite shows on Cartoon Network? I'm like, are you kidding me? That show looks stupid. I've never seen the show. I only saw like the opening, and I'm like, okay, I'm done.
It's nothing but butt jokes.
I remember the day it came out.
What happened?
Well, I was in a Disney hotel when it came out, and I was 6 years old then, and even then I thought it was stupid.
I mean, the only thing I remember about that show was the opening theme, and I think my cousin may have like watched it in the background or something. I don't know. All I know is that when I saw the opening, I was like, oh my God, this looks idiotic. So there's this kid who goes to a school full of animals, and now we have this concept of a monster going to an all-human school. I mean, they're practically ripping off the same concept of Gravedale High, in which you have a teacher who teaches at an all-monster school. I mean, come on, really? I mean, this is the best that Butch Hartman can do. But then again, just because it's a concept that's nothing new doesn't mean it's going to be horrible. I mean, look at Inside Out. That concept has been done before, and it turned out to be amazing. So I'm not going to give it like too much flack because I don't know anything about it. I just saw maybe like a picture of it, like, I don't know, this was like months ago. So I'm waiting until the first episode comes out, but I mean, at least it's not Dan Schneider. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Wasn't Klasky Chupo going through this at one point?
Regarding?
The shows and everything.
Oh yeah, that's right. I think I discussed in another podcast about that. On Klasky Chupo's YouTube channel, they're posting like a ton of pilots, and they're hoping that maybe one of them can be picked up as a TV series. The one that really got me angry was the one that looked like a mixture between Samurai Jack and Avatar. That really just got me irritated. It's like, really, really, you're gonna do that, guys? I mean, anyway, but maybe they've changed some of their minds since then about what to present to other, animation companies. So with Klasky Chupo really interested in bringing back Rugrats, I mean, who knows what they're going to be coming up with bringing back some of their shows. So, I mean, we'll just see what happens. I'm not going to, bring my expectations super, super high. So, yeah, I'm just going to wait. Anyway, let's see what else. You want to know something funny that I found out just today?
What?
Okay,
What?
so I was looking up some information about the three original Nicktoons, right? And I was looking up voice actors. So I looked up the voice actor for Doug in Japan. And guess who's the Japanese voice of Doug?
Who?
Masako Nozawa.
Seriously?
Yes, the Japanese voice of Goku is the voice of Doug Funny. That is amazing.
I hope in the
Why doesn't Doug turn Super Saiyan then?
That would be amazing.
I was gonna
Super
say something.
Saiyan Quail Man. Oh my God! Somebody draw fan art of that. Super Saiyan Quail Man. That would be freaking amazing. And we could have Clodzilla final form like Frieza or Cell.
You know what would be better though?
What?
Super Saiyan Hank Hill.
Super Saiyan Hank Hill.
Yes.
Dang it, Bobby!
It's over 8,000 propane and propane accessories. Anyway, but yeah, and also I was looking up something else because I needed to know more. Hey, okay, here's the thing. So, I was looking up another voice actor, to like see if I can be able to find anything that's like is just as awesome as that. So, SpongeBob, for example. Guess who's the Japanese voice actor for SpongeBob?
Who?
Okay, let me see if I can try to pronounce his name because my Japanese is not like super super great. Let me see. It's oh, let's see if I can find it. Hold on.
By the way, I just looked up Super Saiyan Hank Hill.
Uh-huh.
It's funny.
And it's funny? Oh, okay. I thought it would be funny. Okay, so let me see if I can find it. Oh, okay, here it is. His name is Taiki Matsuno, and he's the voice of SpongeBob. But guess who else he's the voice of?
Who?
Okay, in Naruto, he's the voice of Sasuke.
Seriously?
Yes,
Oh,
and in
that
Bleach,
shows.
Wow.
and in Bleach, he's the voice of Uryu. So you have these two characters who are depicted as like emo and depressed, and he's the same guy who voices SpongeBob, who's like the happiest, manic, and hyperactive person or sponge ever. I mean, put SpongeBob in Sasuke's outfits and have Sandy as Sakura. But then again, it would be more appropriate if SpongeBob was Naruto. Or, I don't know, something like that. But, man, SpongeBob in Naruto or Sasuke's costume, that would be awesome.
Yeah.
So we have Super Saiyan Quail Man and Sasuke
And
Hank Hill and Sasuke SquarePants. If any of our fans are artists, I would love to see that. You would make my day. You would make my 2016 a good start of being awesome.
Wonder who's the Japanese voice of Tommy.
Ooh, I gotta look this up. Now you got me interesting. I gotta look this up. Okay, you guys talk about something while I look this up. Let me see. Speaking of which, let's see. Oh yeah, that's
So,
right. Speaking of SpongeBob, what was his name again? Oh yeah, that Pie Guy Rules. I think he released his Steven season 7 review, and I saw it and I thought it was pretty interesting, even though I haven't seen the majority of season 7. What did you guys see that episode?
up
Um,
until, to tell you the truth, up until, um, up until, well, up until the post sequel episodes, I actually stopped watching SpongeBob in 2006.
Yeah, me too. I was the same person in which I never really was a massive SpongeBob person. I mean, I was 13 when it aired, but I did see my cousins who were like obsessed with SpongeBob, and I would see a handful of them from time to time. And I thought it was a pretty good show. I thought it was really funny, and I thought it was like a Rocko's Modern Life. And then the movie came out, and I thought it was kind of like, I guess this is what happens when you mix SpongeBob and Pee-wee's Big Adventure into like a massive movie, and I thought it was a pretty cool movie. So the later seasons, no, I didn't see a lot of the later seasons because around 2005, my college friends and I were getting into Avatar and whatever anime was popular at the time. Okay, I found it. Okay, Japanese voice actress for Tommy Pickles is Mia Matsumoto. Oh wow, she's been in a lot of Digimon. In
Uh huh.
Digimon Adventure, she was Patamon and Angemon and Mako in Digimon Tamers. Digimon
I
Adventure 2.
can't,
I'm sorry.
I can't believe that. Did you say Patamon?
Yeah, Patamon.
I can't believe that he and Tommy share the same voice in
I
Japan.
know. I know. And look who else in Digimon Adventure 2, Patamon, Pegasusmon, Angemon, Magna Angemon, Tokomon, Shakomon, and Hiroshi Shibata. And there's like so many others. And and card captor Sakura. She was Chelsea or Chiharu, if you want to, say it in the Japanese version. Which, man, I remember card captor Sakura. I remember seeing like that in the commercials with Kids WB. Never really saw the show myself, but I thought it was pretty cool. But yeah, I mean, the same person who voices Tommy in Japan is Patamon. That is so adorable. It's not even funny.
Agreed.
All
Wonder
right.
who voices it. Oops. So, guys, what did you think the best movie 2015 was?
Oh, good question. Are we going with live action or animated?
Both.
Okay.
Star Wars: The Force Awakens.
I want to see that movie. I haven't been able to yet because my movie theater gets so super crowded,
I'm seeing it in
especially if
two
it's a
days.
real. Oh, you're gonna see it? Good, good, good. I'm gonna see it maybe by next week when the crowds kind of die down. But it's not. It just today it surpassed Titanic for being the highest grossing movie. So now it just
Good.
needs to surpass Avatar. If it surpasses Avatar, it's gonna be the highest grossing movie of all time.
I'll be back.
Okay,
Both of
sure.
those movies are ironically made by James Cameron, so James
Yes.
Cameron will be fresh out of luck if that happens.
Yeah, but he's not gonna worry too much. He's like swimming with money. The Disney World is gonna be having the Avatar live action shows. He's working on Avatar 2, so I mean, I don't think he's gonna have to worry too much about his reputation. I mean, he did Terminator 2, Aliens, True Lies, Avatar, so I don't think he has anything to worry about. I
Yeah.
mean, if Avatar 2 makes a whole bunch of money, then we'll see how it compares to Star Wars. But let's be honest, it's not gonna compare to Star Wars. Come on, it's Star Wars. But
I agree.
regardless, whatever, if Avatar or Star Wars gets on top, in the end, Disney wins.
Yep. There. What was your favorite movie of 2015?
Well, let's see. Live action wise, that's really hard because
Both.
there have been some good ones. Like, I saw The Martian. The Martian was really interesting. I want to see Creed because I do like the Rocky movies.
Me too.
Um, let's see. I think I'm gonna have to say either Inside Out or the Peanuts movie. I had a lot of fun watching those. I liked Mockingjay Part Two. I saw the Scorch Trials, and I saw a handful of movies this year. I didn't see a lot of them, but whatever movies that I did see, I like them. I didn't go out and try to find my way to see if I can watch a bad movie. But yeah, I think have to be either Inside Out or the Peanuts movie. When I went to see Inside Out with my sister and my cousin and my cousin's daughter, um, there was a lot of emotional moments in that movie. Some of us were even crying. And the volcano short, um, I didn't really like it, to be quite honest. I thought it was one of Pixar's weakest shorts.
I
What did you think of
agree.
it? What did you think of it? Because there's a lot of people who are very mixed with it. Some people said it was okay. Others said it was like the worst Pixar shorts. What did you think?
I was more interested in the movie than the short this time round, whereas usually I like both.
Yeah, yeah. And as for the Peanuts movie, has the Peanuts movie come out in Europe yet?
Yep, it has, but I've not seen it yet.
Oh, you have got to see this movie. If you love Peanuts, you need to see this movie. It
I've,
is incredible.
I've loved it. I've loved Peanuts since I was like 6.
Yeah, they used to air Peanuts on Nickelodeon, believe it or not. They
I
had
know they did.
the Charlie Brown and Snoopy show. That's what they had the Peanuts for. That's how
I
they
Didn't
were.
caught I caught it on Boomerang in the UK.
Oh, cool, cool.
didn't they also have something called You're on Nickelodeon, Charlie Brown?
Yes, that was also it. Yeah, they had You're on Nickelodeon Charlie Brown, and they were airing some episodes of Charlie Brown and the Snoopy Show. So yeah, that was it. And they had like a handful of Peanut shorts, and they had some of the episodes of the Charlie Brown and Snoopy Show. And I don't think they would air the Christmas special because ABC's been doing that forever. No, wait, not ABC. What was it, ABC or CBS?
I think it's ABC.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. It is ABC because I saw the commercial of it when Christmas was around. Yeah, if you have not seen the Peanuts movie, again, I really implore you to check it out. I think it's going to be coming out of theaters momentarily, like maybe in the next week or so. But if you're like James and you live in the UK, then please go watch it while you still can. Um, let's see. Any movies that you thought were good in 2015, Nickelodeon Critic?
Star Wars.
Star Wars. Again,
The
I want
second
to see that
Avengers
movie.
movie.
Oh, Age of Ultron?
Yeah, which wasn't as good as the first one, but I enjoyed it.
I saw Age of Ultron, not in theaters, but I did see it on TV, and I thought it was pretty good. I liked the action. I love the development of Hawkeye. He was actually an interesting character as opposed to just a throwaway from the first Avengers. Um, I liked um, I liked Ultron. He wasn't as good of a villain as Loki, but I did like him.
Yeah.
Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch. I know that there was a lot of difficulty with developing their characters because Marvel does not have the rights to X-Men with their movies, so they couldn't say that they were Magneto's children. So
Yeah,
they had to work with whatever limitations that they had, and it kind of felt a little flat. I did not see X-Men Days of Future Past, so I don't know how
I did.
Quicksilver was. How was Quicksilver portrayed in that movie?
He was actually pretty different. The thing I liked about him was he was into 60s music like me, so he had like picture posters of the Yardbirds and stuff like that.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense because the X-Men or not X-Men Origins. Oh no, no, not X-Men Origins.
Oh
Um,
no.
the other X-Men movie, the one that took place in the '60s. What was it again?
First class.
Thank you, X-Men First Class. Thank you. Yeah, that took place in the '60s, and it makes sense because that was when Stan Lee created the comics. So I'm glad that they were able to go back in time and put a little continuity in First Class because I actually liked First Class, and I've never seen the Wolverine, but I heard that's pretty good. After X-Men 3 and Origins, after I was done. I was done.
I haven't seen the
Do
new
you
Avengers yet, but I saw the one that came out 3 years ago.
Oh yeah. Oh wow. I saw that movie in theaters. You will
I
not believe how big of a crowd there that was. And everybody was like clapping every time Loki showed up, and when the Hulk was crashing Loki through the building, everybody was like screaming and applauding. Everybody stayed after the credits and they were just sitting around and they were just talking and everybody was laughing. That was a great experience. That was like one of my favorite experiences in going to a movie theater.
Now, you want to know what the worst movie of 2015 for me was?
What?
Fantastic Four.
Oh,
Oh my
I've
gosh,
heard
that movie made
so
me
much about
mad.
it. I've heard
That
so much
movie
things about
is
that movie. I didn't go see it, but I've heard a lot of negative reviews from my colleagues at Comic Book Cast. They said it was pretty much a train wreck. It was nothing more than just a boring movie that, hey, we need to get this movie out because we still have the rights to Fantastic Four.
That's
But
basically all it was.
So it's even more of a train wreck than Trainwreck.
Yes.
at least Trainwreck, you can acknowledge that it's trying to be a comedy and trying to make fun of itself. I mean, with LeBron James, in the movie, and the actress who portrayed as the character in Trainwreck, I thought she was pretty funny. She did a lot of decent things in stand up. Yeah, I thought that movie was pretty funny.
Um, I haven't I haven't seen Trainwreck yet, but I'm a huge fan of Judd Apatow, so I think it's probably going to be a good movie.
Oh yeah, yeah. I like Judd Apatow. Okay. He's done a lot of movies. So many to count actually, but yeah, he's pretty good director. The next project that Judd Apatow is going to be involved in, he's going to be well, he's already produced the new Pee Wee Herman movie, Pee Wee's Big Holiday. It's going to be coming out on Netflix in February.
Hmm.
Really? Wow.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. And the guy who directs it is the guy who worked on Wonder Chosen. Anybody remember Wonder Chosen if you're
slaves
18
Oh
or
yeah,
built the
older?
MTV.
pyramids. Slaves built the Parthenon. Slaves built America. Slaves, this is your song. Thank you, slaves.
Thank you, slave. Yes, yes, that
That's
that
right.
Wonder Chosen.
I
The
love that show so much.
so
So,
yeah, that guy is going to be directing the new Pee Wee movie coming out on Netflix.
great
They need to
stuff.
bring that show
Can't wait
back.
to see it.
Yeah. So yeah, Judd Apatow's still chugging along. He's still doing a lot of producing and directing. And Paul Feig, who's done a lot of stuff for Judd Apatow, doing the new Ghostbusters movie with the female cast.
I
Did
actually
it?
think I actually
Did
think
it?
that in sorry about that.
Go
I think
ahead.
in many ways that Judd Apatow is like Trey Parker and Matt Stone in the fact that it's comedy, despite the fact that he originated well he did originate with in the 90s, but he became popular in the 2000s.
Yeah,
Is that
because
is
they did
that
Freaks
he,
and Geeks, right?
is that he became popular in the 2000s, but he's still relevant and popular to this day.
Yeah,
Not many
yeah, definitely.
not many
Freaks
people
and
can
Geeks.
pull that off.
Underrated.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. I mean, to be quite honest, I'm kind of looking forward to the female Ghostbusters movie. I know a lot of people are really, really not looking
Yeah.
forward to it because it's a female cast. Oh, they're rebooting everything. I mean, I'm willing to give it a chance to see how it ends up. I mean, I know that we're never gonna get a Ghostbusters 3 because, well,
And
Bill
that's
Murray's still not interested in doing it.
and
Um,
Harold Ramis is dead.
yeah, Harold Ramis has passed away. So, I mean, the only person who still really, really wanted to do it was Dan Aykroyd. So, I mean, if you want to see an example of Ghostbusters 3, play the Ghostbusters video game on PS3 and Xbox
Oh,
360.
I love that game.
Yeah, that's the
That
only
game was so
Ghostbusters.
awesome.
Yeah, that is the only
For
Ghostbusters 3 we'll ever get.
for me, I guess what my favorite movie of 2015 was.
Oh, what is it?
Straight Outta Compton.
Oh, yes!
Oh,
I've
that
been
end
hearing
of
so
the
much about that movie. I have not seen
Yep.
it.
Now, as a person who I've seen it, and As a person who really doesn't like NWA, I really do like that movie.
It's um, it's an
God,
autobiography about
person.
Isaiah M. Stewart and his band.
Oh wow! If Isaiah were listening to this, I don't know if he would be insulted or he would take it as a compliment.
It's because I think that Isaiah M.
That.
Stewart looks like Ice Cube.
Yeah, I guess. Wasn't the son of Ice Cube in the movie portraying as Ice Cube, or is that somebody else?
Yep.
Oh, okay. I was
No,
right.
it
Yeah.
was his son.
Yeah, that was kind of cool that, the son of Ice Cube was able to portray as Ice Cube. It kind of reminded me of the TLC movie in which I think it was T-Boz's teenage daughter portrayed as like the younger T-Boz, which I thought that was pretty cool as well. But yeah, I have not seen Straight Outta Compton yet. I
Or
really do because I heard it was really, really good.
It was. It's
yeah.
from
Way. Did you hear that they got?
Got what?
and my favorite animated movie would probably either be Sponge Out of Water or Inside Out.
I have not seen Sponge Out of Water yet.
You should. It's like the old SpongeBob episodes. They got the humor right. It feels like, like Steven Hillenburg never left.
Oh, well, I did hear about that. I also heard that the trailer was very misleading.
Yeah, and I think you want to know what's ironic.
What's that?
When Steven Hillenburg has returned to the show, SpongeBob isn't as popular as it used to be. I feel like in 2015, after the movie, the hype about it, I don't feel like it's as popular as it used to be.
Huh. Well, I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, for the most part, I guess it's starting to tire out. I mean, I think the reason why that SpongeBob is getting less and less relevant is because, well, we're actually getting a good Nicktoon with Harvey Beaks.
I think so, and the only reason why SpongeBob has been able to stay as relevant as it has was because compared to everything else on Nickelodeon, it was practically like something from the past that we were holding on to. Whereas now a new show has come out and it's getting loads of hype. In fact, Harvey Beats actually reminds me of old SpongeBob in many ways.
Yeah, it's pretty charming in my opinion. I like some of the characters, and the episodes they're very whimsical and they're very simple. But I like the way that it's able to be incredibly charming, but at the same time, it's able to have this likability. I like the colors. I like the characters. I just love the overall direction. I'm hoping that that it continues to become really popular. Because, in my opinion, I mean, I know that a lot of people are not going to agree with me on this, but I actually like Chowder. I know not a lot of people are going to agree with me,
I
but
didn't really,
Okay.
I didn't really rate Chowder that much, but it wasn't terrible.
oh, well, I mean, to be quite honest, with Chowder, oh, maybe because I like to cook, and I actually did work in I worked in kitchens right before have my current job right now where I'm working at a Goodwill, but I used to work in kitchens. I worked at a bakery. I worked at a nursing home, and I used to serve people their breakfast and their lunches. And I worked around the kitchens. And even when I was a kid, I always liked to learn more about different recipes. And because of that, I was able to incorporate like a list full of different ingredients and what they did and how they tasted like and their origins. And I also love to read cookbooks and gather different recipes so I can cook some stuff for my family. And I guess maybe that's why I like Chowder, because it plays a lot on food, and it's able to have some decent jokes about it. And also, they broke the fourth wall all the time. They would constantly shatter the fourth wall with a hammer, similar to what Angry Beavers did. Like, you have that one scene in which Chowder and Mung were talking, and then all of a sudden they run out of budget for their show, and so the animation was cut, and you cut into the actual voice actors trying to raise money back so they can get their show back on the air. I thought that was
I
really, really
remember.
funny. So, and then there was this one clip of there was this one scene in Chowder, one of the episodes in which you have Chowder talking to Mung, and he was making a mess, and then Monk tells Charter to clean it off, and then he said, "What about that stain right over there?" And then Monk said, "Oh, that stain is always there. You don't have to worry about it." And it happens to be the Cartoon Network logo. So yeah, I do enjoy Charter for what it was. I thought it was pretty decent. It's kind of like in the same way in which something like um, something like Chalk Zone or My Life as a Teenage Robot was kind of overlooked. But yeah, I thought it was a pretty decent show for what it was. But yeah, with the Harvey Beaks, I'm hoping that it doesn't turn into a show that aired a few episodes, a lot of people liked it, and then it just goes and away and nobody seems to remember it. I'm just hoping it doesn't become overlooked. I hope that it becomes a huge hit because it deserves to be a huge hit. We need a massive hit for Nicktoons again because SpongeBob has already worn out its welcome.
I think, to be honest with you, I think that SpongeBob has just basically ended up like The Simpsons and Family Guy, which is aired for so long that nobody seems to care about it anymore.
Hey James, I really like your wall over there. It's fabulous.
Thanks.
Anyway, so while you guys get a tour of James's bed, let's see what else.
Oh, I have something to ask.
Oh yeah. What do you have?
All right. So since 2016 has come out, I have realized that there's a lot of important music moments that are getting anniversaries this year.
Oh, please. Why don't you share with us?
Alright, Bob Dylan's Blonde on Blonde was the first released.
Okay.
The Beach Boys' Pet Sounds, 50 Years, and it basically is the reason why the Beatles. And then the Beatles' Revolver, my favorite Beatles album, is also celebrating 50 years.
Okay.
For 25 years, Nirvana's Nevermind.
Yes.
I think what else is celebrating its anniversary, because there's quite a few albums that are celebrating. Oh, the Ramones' debut album. Oh, they're celebrating 40th.
Great. Sounds great.
Yep.
Anything you have to share, Perry? No? Okay. Oh, really? Did you take down Doofenshmirtz? Oh, you did! Great. All right, well, thank you for being on board, Perry. Anyway, so, I really don't have anything to discuss about unless you have any other things to bring up. If not, then I think we can just wrap things up. Do you have anything to plug or self-promote, Nickelodeon Critic?
Oh, I have a new channel coming out. It's called The Classic Rock Shock.
Awesome.
Funny, isn't it? Anyway, it's basically going to be about, classic rock. It's going to be, like, album reviews, which the first one that we'll be doing is Lou Reed's Berlin, and that should be coming out soon, so get ready and get hyped and get prepared for the Classic Rock Shock.
Awesome. As for me, I recently just posted up my blooper videos. Of all the videos that I've done in 2015, I have a ton of blooper lines. I have cut lines that never made it to the videos. I have outtakes. So if you want to see me act like a complete moron, then go listen to it. Cartman, do you have anything to plug or self-promote?
I hate hippies.
Awesome. Go check out Cartman's new website, IHateHippies.com. All right, so yeah, that's it for Nickelodeon Slimecast podcast live stream. As for us, I'm going to be updating more of the channel because I'm going to be posting up some news more often. Like the news will probably be around 2 or 3 minutes tops. Just something to add into the channel other than just waiting 2 or 3 or even 4 months for a new episode. So, there's that, and also I'm hoping that we get the Summer of Nickelodeon movies off the ground, because I really want to do this. We didn't do it last year, so I'm hoping that we do it this year. All right, so...
I hope to.
Oh, go ahead.
I hope to do the Rugrat. I hope to do a commentary on the Rugrats movie.
Oh,
And
yeah,
Good
yeah.
Burger.
Yeah. We'll see if we can do that, Perry's foot. Anyway, so, all right, so that's it for this episode of the Nickelodeon Slangcast podcast. Unfortunately, we were not able to get any questions, so we are not able to answer. Perry says goodbye. I'm saying goodbye to Nickelodeon Critic. Say bye.
I'm a highway star. If anyone gets that, thank you.
If you get it, you get it. All right,
If you
James,
get
say
it,
goodbye.
an appreciation.
Bye.
Bye.
Goodbye, you people. Just kidding. I love you all.
Love you too. Bye-bye.